What do you get when you combine speed, fearlessness, and two-wheeled excellence? Well, you get none other than the most legendary family name in all of motorcycling, the Dunlops. These guys didn't just race, they dominated arguably the most dangerous race in the world, the Isle of Man TT. If you don't know about the Dunlop name, which includes Joey, Michael, Robert, and William, you're doing yourself a disservice. Today we'll take a deep dive into the family's history with victory, tragedy, and brutal motorcycle racing. Let's get into it. We can't talk about the Dunlops without first discussing the Isle of Man TT, arguably the most badass and dangerous motorcycle race on the planet. The race doesn't take place on your average short circuit track, but instead over nearly 38 miles on the infamous mountain course. The mountain course is literally a public road that is used throughout most of the year, and so this goes through villages, near stone walls, hedges, and open fields. The riders average speeds of over 130 miles an hour, all while crisscrossing the landscape that has sheep, pubs, and unsuspecting British passerbys. Since the race began in 1907, over 260 people have been killed at this event. To put this into perspective, since 1932, 1982 was the only year that nobody died during either the TT or the Manx Grand Prix. It raises a lot of questions of risk versus reward, but it drives home the fact that these riders are absolutely fearless and maybe a little insane in the best way possible. And of those who have seen tragedy on the mountain course, none have endured more tragedy than the Dunlop family. Let's start with the legend, the king of the mountain, Joey Dunlop. Joey has countless accolades, and up until very recently, he was the most winningest TT rider of all time, racking up 26 TT wins, having been dethroned by none other than his own nephew, Michael. There's a statue of Joey at the 26th mile marker on the mountain course that's named after him. He was even voted Northern Ireland's most famous athlete in 2015, and that's for a good reason. Joey wasn't flashy. He was an honest, humble guy from Northern Ireland who just loved road racing. And he just happened to become one of the greatest motorcycle racers of all time. He started racing in the 60s, he won his first TT in 1977, and he just kept on winning. He won races in 5 different decades, which is pretty crazy in of itself. And he wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty either. Joey worked on and built his own motorcycles too. Joey's final TT win came in 2000 at the ripe age of 48. Just a month later, he would compete in his final motorcycle race in Estonia, where he tragically would lose his life. While competing in the 125cc event, after having racked up wins in the 600 and 750cc category, Joey Dunlop lost control of his motorcycle, probably due to the wet conditions, and he collided with a tree, resulting in instant death. As a sign of respect, the Estonian government's official website was replaced with a tribute to Joey Dunlop within hours of his death. Northern Ireland's television coverage carried out a live procession for his funeral where over 50,000 people showed up. That was the impact that this man had, not just on motorcycle racing, but on the culture of Northern Ireland. But Joey's younger brother, Robert, was no slouch either. While Joey was racking up big bike wins, Robert was out there dominating on the 125 and 250cc categories. He won 5 TT races, 15 at the Northwest 200, and he was just a total crowd favorite. But what made Robert legendary wasn't just his wins, it was his resilience and tenacity. In 1994, Dunlop suffered a major accident on the Isle of Man Formula 1 TT, when the back wheel of his Honda RC45 collapsed in a long left turn just after he took the jump over Beloff Bridge. Dunlop suffered major injuries, and he was really lucky to be alive. Many people believe that Robert's career was over because his injuries left him with serious physical disabilities after the crash. Robert returned to racing in 1996 and had varying degrees of success. His bike was modified to accommodate issues in his legs and arms, specifically nerve damage on his right hand. With increasing pain and problems in his leg, on top of increased insurance costs and skepticism from governing bodies regarding his condition, Robert announced his retirement following the 2004 season with the intention of focusing on supporting his sons. But that didn't last long, as he came back to road racing in the 2005 season. In 2008, during a practice session for the Northwest 200, his motorcycle's engine seized. When he went to grab the clutch lever, he accidentally grabbed the front brake lever, which was situated on the left-hand side to accommodate his injuries on his right hand. He was thrown from his motorcycle at about 155 miles an hour, colliding with fellow racer Darren Burns, all while his sons watched from the pits. Shortly thereafter, Robert passed away in the hospital. Just 2 days later, his son Micheal would win the Northwest 200 in the 250cc category, the very same race his father would have been competing in had he not passed away. And now enter Micheal, Robert's son and Joey's nephew. Micheal Dunlop is known for his aggressive yet spectacularly precise riding style, which is just amazing to witness. And a little bit of a fun tidbit, I actually did witness it in person because I have an Isle of Man TT video coming out next week that you're not going to want to miss. He has not just followed in his father and uncle's footsteps, but many would consider that he has surpassed them. As mentioned, and in the time of the recording of this video, Micheal Dunlop is the most winningest TT rider of all time, having amassed 29 TT victories. But since the TT is literally going on right now, I'm sure that he's amassed even more victories. Beyond his raw and aggressive style, Micheal Dunlop is known for his blunt demeanor, often causing confrontations with other riders and even his own late brother. But what really makes Micheal different is that he knows the cost. He's lost his father and his uncle to road racing. He watched his brother William die in a race in 2018, and yet he still keeps going. Before we get to the bigger question of legacy, we should talk about William Dunlop. That's Robert's son and Micheal's brother. Whereas Micheal is fire and aggression, William was smooth, calm, collected, and methodical even. He wasn't chasing the spotlight, he just loved to ride fast and to do so cleanly. William scored over 100 road racing wins, including victories at the Northwest 200 and Ulster Grand Prix, and while a TT win eluded him, he had several podium finishes and was one of the most respected racers in the paddock. Tragically, in 2018, William was killed during practice at the Scaries 100. It was another devastating blow to the Dunlop family. He was riding a Yamaha R1, which spilled oil onto the back tire from the sump. This caused Dunlop to lose control. He crashed into a ditch and trees near the Sam's Tunnel part of the circuit, which caused injuries that made him lose his life. The Dunlop legacy is arguably complicated. On the one hand, they're all absolute icons and motorcycle racing legends. There's statues of Joey on the Isle of Man. People wear yellow in remembrance of Joey, and every time a Dunlop lines up, people stop and pay attention. But it's also a legacy of tragedy. Motorcycle racing has taken so much from their family, and it raises real questions about risk versus reward in motorcycle road racing. There's no easy answer, but the Dunlops keep racing, and fans keep watching because there's something so raw and real about what they do. They have literally put it all on the line to win. Here's some quotes about the Dunlop family that I think are worth sharing. Former racer and TV host Guy Martin said, "Joey was the greatest. No one will ever do what he did. And Micheal, he's got the same grit. The Dunlops aren't normal. They're wired different. They're racers through and through." From 23-time TT winner John McGuinness, the Dunlops are royalty in our sport. Joey was the benchmark, Robert was a warrior, and Micheal's just an animal. What that family's been through, and they still come back, it's unreal. And lastly, TT winner and friend of the family, Bruce Anstey, said, "They race because it's in their blood. Joey was the king, Robert was the heart, and the lads carried that fire. No one can question the Dunlops' love for this sport." So what makes the Dunlops the most famous motorcycle racing family in history? It's not just the wins, even though they've got more than anyone else. It's not just the bravery, even though theirs is unmatched. It's the fact that for 3 generations, they chased something bigger than themselves. And they've paid the price for it, like some sort of Faustian bargain. The Dunlops are legends in a sport with real life or death stakes in it. And I firmly believe Micheal is carrying that torch and will end up being the uncontested, most winningest TT rider of all time. Thanks so much for checking out today's video. I hope you enjoyed this quick deep dive on the Dunlop family legacy. Drop me a comment down below if you have any other awesome stories about the Dunlop family, and I really do appreciate it. As a reminder, this Panigale V2 next to me here is up for grabs on YamiNoob.co. It's our newest giveaway bike. Support as a member and join the show. We'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.